All right, hello, good morning, and welcome everybody to the Premarket Prep session for July 25th, 2023. I'm your host here today and every day, Adam Holland, stock options expert market strategist, and fellow one percenter. Some might say a pioneer of the 1% movement. That's the aim, 1% better each and every day. Once I recognized that, it took a lot of stress off me, but also made it just a lot more fun, going after my goals, doing what I'm trying to do. So I'm excited to be here to continue to push forward with that endeavor. Let's see, I'm looking at something fun to have in the background here. Maybe we'll throw a little wave in there. Yeah, that's nice. Little blue wave to go with the rest of the blue mood. So if everybody had a great night's sleep, right, having a great morning. I got a freaking ring at the doorbell from Amazon at like 4 a.m. I ran out of protein and I overnighted some. And they said it would come between 4 and 8 a.m. And I was like, okay, there's no way it's going to come at 4. I'll wake up at 6:15. I'll take this gamble. And legit at like 4:30 a.m., he was ringing the doorbell. And I was like, bro, no way. So got up, got the protein, and then got like a nosebleed. I guess I normally sleep with humidifier. I didn't. And I don't know about you guys, but I was one of those people growing up that would like constantly get nosebleeds if the air was dry, something like that. So then I got a nosebleed and was back to sleep by like 5. But it just threw a wrench in my sleep pattern. I mean, that doorbell chime tore me out of like the deepest depths of deep sleep. And I don't think I recovered by the time my alarm went off. So gonna need to maybe get a little meditation in, get a little caffeine in, and try and get more into the market swing of things. But we all know that, you have the perfect mornings, you have the mornings where it's an uphill battle, but regardless, fighting is what's important. And just making sure that you remain level-headed through the whole thing, not rushing anything, making any rash decisions, or doing anything that you might come to regret. Now, whether you're watching live or via replay, guys, make sure you're tossing those ones in the chat. We're here to get 1% better each and every day. So that's what we're aiming to do here this morning, of course. Let us go in and examine what's going on here with our top news, which is what else? Tech earnings, man. Earnings intelligence. So market participants are shifting their focus to big tech as earnings season goes into overdrive with some of the biggest names in the industry set to publish Q2 results. On tap for today are earnings from Google and Microsoft, which will report after the bell, as well as quarterly numbers from Meta Platforms on Wednesday. The stocks are also part of the Magnificent Seven, which has led the big stock rally this year, as well as the NASDAQ 100, which just underwent a special rebalance due to over-concentration. Now, what to watch? Artificial intelligence is likely to be the buzzword during post-earnings conference calls, which could further boost sentiment about future revenues. Microsoft, which spearheaded the AI frenzy with its multi-billion-dollar backing of ChatGPT maker OpenAI, will especially be on watch, though eyes will also be on Google's AI developments. Signs of cooling inflation and the end of a Fed hiking cycle have also benefited the biggest names in tech and helped propel the market rebound in 2023. Other parts of the tech titans businesses will also go under the microscope. Investors will be paying attention to whether growth will bounce back at Microsoft's Azure cloud computing unit, as well as PC demand and its Windows and Office businesses. Over at Alphabet, search and YouTube will be on the radar, which will provide a snapshot of online ad spending. Meanwhile, better monetization will be the focus at Meta with stats and user numbers surrounding social platforms, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and the newly released Threads. Now, seeking alpha commentary, well-known large-cap names Netflix and Tesla sold off hard last week, and I think the same will occur with some of the other names here, wrote investing group leader David Lerner, outlining a list of stocks of interest this week. Quote, I'm not sure this theme will remain throughout earnings season, but if one or two names do sell off, they could be mighty good opportunities. There are still a lot of money managers that haven't participated in this rally, and many of them are hoping for a chance. There are also trillions in money markets, and as interest rates settle down, they should go lower. This will pull in more funds to stocks. So a lot of people still hoping to throw their hat in the game, missed out on the rally. It's unfortunate, but that's why you got to be watching those technicals, right? Watch that downtrend break. We know that's the opportunity. Throw a 3 in the chat to as a little salute to the downtrend break. It's something that we watch for a lot on the hourly, on the daily, on the weekly, and it pays more often than it doesn't, right? So make sure you keep an eye out for that So I'm going to keep an eye out for my little breakfast shake here. Need to get that in, get some sustenance in, some fuel for this body to burn. In terms of earnings, I don't know, man. It's tough. It's one of those things where it all depends on what they want to focus on. You look back at Tesla as kind of like a case study. Tesla beat on both the top and bottom line, right? But they said they might have to decrease prices on like the Model Y a little bit more, and that's all people looked at for the reaction to earnings. So it's just one of those things where it's like, what will investors choose to focus on? You never really know. So Microsoft can drop AI developments, Google can drop AI developments, and that could be something that rockets them, right? It could. We talked about how yesterday we saw the, that big kind of bundle of Google calls that was purchased. We also have no idea, of the rest of that strategy and what that looks like. It could be someone being bullish on Google, right? Maybe they drop some news before earnings to run it up because earnings will disappoint. That could be the case, right? Maybe this is a bet on earnings. Maybe that's the case. Maybe this is, part of them hedging a position where they're actually super short Google going into earnings, right? And this is actually just to hedge the fact that they sold short on a bunch of, Google stocks. There's a lot of different things that could be in the works here. So it's one of those things where, again, if you aren't willing to flush it down the toilet, don't play it on earnings. And as long as you have those expectations, you can't really be let down, right? That's kind of how you want to go into maintaining it and what type of outlook you want to have on it. And then from there, just looking to play either earnings run up or the post earnings move, right? Playing the post earnings move. It's very lucrative. And at the end of the day, if you played Tesla's post-earnings move, you made more money than if you played the Tesla move and got it right, just because of implied volatility. So you can make just as much money from an earnings move after the move, right? If you get some type of continuation, than you actually do from the move. So it's important to keep in mind here. Now, regulation, climate action, the Biden administration may expand its crackdown on household appliances and items with a proposed rule aimed at making residential water heaters more efficient. New standards will require many electric water heaters to achieve efficiency gains by using heat pumps, while gas-fired water heaters would be required to make improvements through condensing technology. It follows a series of related measures from the Department of Energy, including the rolling out of new efficiency standards for central AC units, proposed limits on washing machines and dishwashers, and the banning of incandescent light bulbs in favor of LEDs. Climate action was also discussed in yesterday's WSB survey. If you haven't taken the poll, you can still do so here or add your investing views on the subject in the comments section. Thanks for letting us know. Again, I feel like this is kind of like superfluous information, like not really useful. On the move, Tupperware party. There might be a new meme stock in the making. Oh, Lord, just what we need here. Tupperware, ticker TUP, soared 75% yesterday to $1.58, notching their best session on record, following sky-high volume and heightened interest in the survivability of the consumer products company. Some are even asking if the latest movement could mirror the rally of used car retailer Carvana, which is up 900% year to date, and was also once thought to be on the brink of bankruptcy. Shorts could be put to the test if things continue, with short interest on TUP over 23% of the total float. In April, Tupperware's board actively engaged with management to improve the company's capital structure and near-term liquidity, and also engaged financial advisors and partners to assist in securing supplemental financing, among other measures. I hate gnats. There's one. Got him. Sorry about that, guys. The clap was loud, but I cannot stand gnats. You guys probably know because they're bad everywhere this year. I don't know what it is, like what's in the air, but they are relentless, and I do not stand for it. I am the gnat assassin, so I don't care if I'm in a Zoom. I was in a Zoom yesterday. I literally had to do the same thing. I was like, look, guys, hold up. Give me 1 second. I had to turn my camera off and was just clapping around trying to get these guys. But yeah, zero tolerance policy for gnats over here. Got to take care of business because I'm like too OCD where I can't like be locked in on my work and have you in my periphery. Now let's see here. In terms of top, right, again, it's one of those things where the market is a fun place. You can have fun. Just don't make it your investing strategy, right, to try and find meme stocks. If you have some money that you want to throw around, right, by all means, like, oh, I'll go, buy one of these, buy a call on top just for the case of, it might end up being like Carvana. You can do that, but only if you can afford to do that, right? It's as simple as that. Don't say, hey, I'm down to my last $150 after doing a lot of frivolous, ill-advised trades, and I'm going to try and turn that into $1,000 or $2,000 by trading this potential meme stock. That is not the way, right? What you want to do is if you're up thousands of bucks, say, hey, like to have some fun. Let's see if this will work out, right? But also making sure that you are paying most attention and putting most credence in those good, solid, blue chip, liquid stocks, right? That move kind of how they're expected to move. But yeah, top, who knows, could be another little meme stock. That's how you kind of know that the economy is doing better as well, when you have more meme stock action going on. In terms of commodities here, grain attacks. U.S. wheat futures on the Chicago Board of Trade are on watch again after surging by their daily maximum on Monday. Russia attacked Ukrainian ports and grain infrastructure on the Danube River, expanding its air campaign that began last week after it pulled out of the Black Sea Grain Initiative. So it looks like Russia's really no holds bar here at this point. Before they're like, all right, we're at war with you, but we'll still make sure that the grain gets out and yada, yada, yada. And now they're like, listen, bro, we don't care, right? We're going to bomb whatever, do whatever we can in order to weaken you. Because again, Putin's pride is on the line. I mean, you have an old, potentially ill, potentially terminally ill man who is at the head of this country. I feel like this is definitely not out of the realm of possibility for his actions. So 3 warehouses were reportedly destroyed in the port of Reni by Russian drones, which continue to pound Ukrainian food export ports almost daily. Corn and soybeans followed wheat futures higher with outlooks for hot weather in the U.S. crop belt adding support, while the EU's monitoring service further reduced its crop yield forecast for this year's harvest. So overall, right, wheat, soybean, corn, seems like all those prices are flying. There's probably some ETF or something to look up that, let's see here. Is there a wheat ETF? Can we find that? I mean, there's definitely commodities ETFs. Dun, 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 dun. What is this? Teucrium. Oh, there's a ETF, a wheat ETF list within this little database. Of course, they want me to join their little thing before they can show me any names. To be expected. Yeah, something that we can look at too, like kind of off. Oh, it looks like WEAT. Looks like it could be one wheat ETF. Benjamin said, "LOL, the Nat Assassin." Yeah, I feel like WEAT might be one to look into, but again, at the end of the day, like you want to focus on the big boys. But this is something where we've been hearing about it for a few weeks, right? And we've got kind of wheat futures all over the place. So yeah, it looks like this Teucrium Commodity Trust Wheat ETF. That is one WEAT. So maybe something to keep an eye on. Again, it's more speculative. And you don't want to make a habit out of it. Like you're not throwing down, your rent money, your mortgage on this play, but kind of something to keep an eye on, stay abreast on, and kind of don't let opportunities pass you by because you're not familiar with them. So, looking up some wheat ETFs, some other commodity ETFs, finding a ticker that's liquid, something that's optionable might be, something that's on the table here as we kind of see this continued attack by Russia on Ukraine, and their food export ports. And that's definitely going to continue to drive prices higher. And that also plays a role in inflation globally, right? We just had countries last week come out and talk about how they're not exporting, a lot of goods. That death of globalization, the rise of protectionism, it's a kick in the butt. And it's something that, unfortunately, the Fed fighting inflation can't do anything about that because they can't control the war in Russia. The war in Ukraine can't control any of that. So I feel like this is a part of the global inflation picture or landscape that's kind of fallen into the background, but it's starting to make its way back into the foreground, right? At first, everybody was like, oh, this war in Ukraine is like going to be crazy. And then people got used to it. Like, okay, it's not really changing much. But if the price of everything starts skyrocketing, that's something that can affect our upward trajectory with how, good inflation has been. If it can affect, that core, not the core, but the overall inflation, right? The one that doesn't exclude food and energy. In terms of today's markets, looking mostly green. In Asia, Japan down 0.1, Hong Kong up 4.3, China up 2.1, India flat. The FTSE in London up 0.1%, Paris up 0.2, Frankfurt flat. The Dow up 0.1, S&P up 0.1, so basically flat. Nasdaq up 0.3, crude up 0.2, gold down 0.2, Bitcoin down 0.5. Let's see where we're at here. Oil was something that paid us very nicely yesterday. So that's on the radar. China still on the radar. We have BABA here. They gapped up above daily resistance at 97. That's a good look. So checking out BABA, we have China that's moving off the back of more stimulus news. It wasn't any type of serious stimulus, like any crazy stimulus, but it still had Chinese names like absolutely rocketing yesterday. BABA, NIO, or Neo, however the heck you pronounce it, BABA, Neo, JD, Baidu, all of them were going crazy. All of them bull flagged into close, and it looks like the majority of them pushed over that bull flag breakout area overnight. So those are a few to definitely look at here at open. NIO over that 12.05, BABA over 97. All these are hourly bull flags. Of course, you have to play that in accordance with, how we have to play hourly bull flags, making sure that they hold over that breakout level in the hourly. Baidu 150.79. So China, right, haven't done a lot of trading in Chinese names just because things are so volatile. And, you go to sleep, you wake up the next morning, and it's just an absolute, crap hits the fan. But this is something where, especially with how the broader market indexes are moving, SPY was just a mess yesterday, right? The Q is a mess yesterday. It's nice to find individual names where you can go get your money and leave, right? That's what it's all about during days or weeks when you have earnings, a ton of earnings, and also a ton of data that's dropped. We've got data dropped all week this week for every single day when we wake up, and we have earnings happening before the bell and after the bell. So this is where you have to make sure that you go in, you get your money, you leave, right? And you do so with prudence and expedience. Cool, 40%, nice, out. 100%, cool, out of all of them, right? You just go, get your money, and leave. That's what we did yesterday to start off this week nice and strong. It paid, looking to do the exact same thing today. Don't have to go crazy. Don't have to be involved in everything. Just find some good individual names that are pushing, despite what our market is doing, and execute. Energy is one of those things. China is another one of those things. So we have the FOMC meeting that begins today. We have consumer confidence data at 10 a.m., so that is going to affect how we move, right, at open, as well as around that 10 a.m. mark. What else is happening for our rapid-fire bullet point rundown? IPO roundup, Surf Air Mobility, ticker SRFM, and Opti Harvest, ticker OPHV, and more. I guess those are just companies that are IPOing. UBS to pay $387 million to settle Credit Suisse's Archegos missteps. Apple said to keep shipments of next iPhone in line with prior model. Negotiations continue as FedEx pilots reject labor agreement. Brief filed asking Supreme Court to okay Mountain Valley Pipeline. Gasoline futures return to October highs after XOM refinery outage. So it looks like XOM had a refinery issue. It's funny because XOM was the only energy ticker, really, like one of the only major ones that I didn't call out yesterday. But the thing is, like, they have a refinery issue that really just goes to push up gasoline prices even more because they're struggling to produce, that gasoline. So we still going to keep an eye out for all these energy tickers. They paid quite nicely yesterday. Oxy, Marathon, right? So keep your eyes peeled on those bad boys. You can milk the same stocks for a number of days. That's what's amazing about the market is you can kind of make your own rules. Disinflation could become a headwind, says Morgan Stanley. JP Morgan bear Marco Kolanovich spies an AI bubble. Spotify sinks after announcing increases in U.S. premium prices. I don't understand how that makes sense. If they announce an increase in prices, wouldn't the stock go up? I don't understand. Report Adobe won't offer EU remedies over Figma deal. So that'll wrap us up, put a bow on it, and take us out today for this morning, July 25th, pre-market prep session, people. We had a beautiful day yesterday, an insane day last week, right? Any week where you can turn $100 into over $1,000 is a great freaking week. But we come into this week with completely new mindset, right? We wipe the slate clean. We've withdrawn profits. We're back to that ground zero amount that we're used to using, and we're ready to execute responsibly this week. The worst thing you could do after a week like that, last week is coming to this week, guns blazing. You tripled your account, and now you want a 6x it this week. The market doesn't owe you that. Doesn't owe you anything close to that. And in fact, it'll probably take it all back, considering it's a big earnings and data week. It's not hard to make money. It's hard to keep money. So let's make sure that we are committed to keeping money and not getting in this kind of black hole circle of an account just going up and going down, right? But everybody, you're 1% better just from tuning in. Make sure you harness that 1% into even more by executing today in markets when necessary. Don't push it. Don't rush it. Do what you need to. Take your bills and leave. And have a great rest of the day. I'll see you back here tomorrow morning for our next Premarket Prep session. Have a good one, people.